Best friends throughout youth, they never knew destiny was right beside them. Have you ever wondered if your soulmate is someone you already know? Someone who's been by your side all along? This is a story about that very idea, about two best friends, Leo and Maya, who grew up together sharing everything from scraped knees to secret dreams, never once imagining that destiny was quietly weaving their lives into a single, beautiful tapestry! Their story began in a small, sun-drenched town on a playground where a sick Maya, with tears welling up in her eyes over a broken swing, met a 7-year-old Leo who offered her his half-eaten cookie as a peace offering. That simple act of kindness sparked a friendship that would define their entire childhood. They were inseparable. Their summers were a blur of bike rides down dusty lanes, building rickety tree houses and daring each other to jump into the local lake. Winters meant snowball fights and huddling by the fireplace, talking for hours about everything and nothing. They navigated the awkwardness of middle school together. When Maya got braces and felt self-conscious, Leo told her she looked like a cool superhero with a silver smile. When Leo failed his math test, Maya spent weeks tutoring him until numbers finally started to make sense. They were each other's constants, a safe harbor in the turbulent seas of adolescence. They knew each other's deepest fears and wildest aspirations. Leo knew Maya dreamed of being an artist, her notebooks filled with sketches of faraway places. Maya knew Leo wanted to be a musician, his fingers constantly tapping out rhythms on any available surface. High school arrived, and with it, the inevitable complications of teenage life. Dates, proms, and heartbreaks came and went. But their friendship remained the one unshakable foundation. Leo would listen patiently as Maya cried over a boy who didn't call back. And Maya would cheer the loudest at Leo's first gig with his garage band. They were each other's plus ones, their emergency contacts, their go-to person for advice. People around them would often joke, "Why don't you two just date already?" They'd always laugh it off. The idea seemed absurd. How could you date your other half? It felt like dating a sibling! The line between friendship and something more was one they never even thought to look for, let alone cross. They saw each other through triumphs and failures. Leo was there with a giant tub of ice cream when Maya didn't get into her first choice art school. Maya was the one who helped Leo record his first demo tape, staying up all night to get the sound just right. Their bond was so deeply ingrained in their identities that they could imagine a life where the other wasn't just a phone call away. They were fixtures in each other's family photos, a permanent part of each other's history. To their parents, they were practically a package deal. "Where's Leo?" Maya's mom would ask. "Is Maya coming?" Leo's dad would wonder. "College sent them in different directions for the first time." Maya went to an art school a few states away, while Leo stayed closer to home, studying music. The distance was a test. The daily check-ins turned into weekly calls, but the connection never wavered. They sent each other care packages filled with inside jokes and local snacks. They'd have long video calls, sharing their new lives, their new friends, their new challenges. But there was a subtle shift, a small, quiet ache of absence that neither of them had ever felt before. Being apart made them realize just how much they relied on each other's presence. During a college break, they met up in their old hometown. It was strange at first, fitting back into their old rhythm. They walked through the park where they'd spent countless hours reminiscing about their childhood. Sitting on their old favorite bench, watching the sunset paint the sky in hues of orange and pink, a comfortable silence fell between them. It wasn't the silence of friends who had run out of things to say, but a new kind of quiet, filled with unspoken thoughts. Leo looked at Maya. Really looked at her. Not as the girl he grew up with, but as the incredible woman she was becoming. He saw the passion in her eyes when she talked about her art, the kindness in her smile, the way she still bit her lip when she was deep in thought. And in that moment, a realization hit him with the force of a tidal wave. It was a feeling that had been hiding in plain sight for years, disguised as friendship, as loyalty, as familiarity. He turned to her and said, "Maya, have you ever thought that maybe everyone was right?" Maya looked confused. Right about what? He took a deep breath, his heart pounding in his chest. About us. About you and me. Maya's eyes widened, a flicker of understanding. And maybe, just maybe, a hint of hope. She had felt it too. That strange pull. That feeling that no other relationship in her life quite measured up to the one she had with him. She had dismissed it, buried it, afraid to upset the perfect balance of their friendship. The air crackled with 20 years of shared history, of unspoken feelings finally bubbling to the surface. It was terrifying and exhilarating all at once. What if this ruined everything? But what if it was the beginning of everything they were always meant to be? The barrier they had so carefully maintained between them for 2 decades suddenly seemed so fragile, so arbitrary. That night, under the same stars they had wished upon as kids, they talked for hours, not as best friends, but as 2 people on the verge of a new discovery. They unraveled years of moments, seeing them in a new light. The lingering glances, the comforting hugs that lasted just a second too long, the fierce protectiveness they felt for one another. It was all there, a trail of breadcrumbs leading them to this very moment. It wasn't a sudden, dramatic explosion of passion. It was a slow, gentle dawning. It was the quiet realization that home wasn't a place, but a person. And they had been home all along. Their first kiss wasn't fiery or clumsy. It was soft, familiar, and felt like coming home after a long journey. It felt right. Their transition from best friends to a couple was surprisingly seamless. The foundation was already there, stronger than any new romance could hope to be. They already knew each other's flaws and loved each other anyway. They had already seen each other at their worst and held on tight. Now, they just gotta add a new layer to their bond. A layer of romance, of stolen kisses, of holding hands in a way that was new and exciting. Their friends and family were not surprised. The most common reaction was a resounding, finally. What took you so long? It seemed everyone else had seen what they had been blind to for so long. They had been so close to the picture. They couldn't see the masterpiece they were a part of. Their love story wasn't a whirlwind romance. It was a slow burn. A love that had been patiently growing in the background of their lives, waiting for them to be ready to see it. It teaches us that sometimes the greatest love isn't found in a dramatic, cinematic moment, but in the quiet, consistent presence of someone who has always been there. It's in the person who knows how you take your coffee, who can finish your sentences, who has championed your dreams from the very beginning. Sometimes destiny isn't a stranger you meet by chance. Sometimes destiny is your best friend, the one who has been standing right beside you, waiting for you to finally turn around and notice. So maybe take a look around. Your forever might be closer than you think. If you enjoyed this story and it resonated with you, please show some love by giving this video a like and hitting that subscribe button. It helps us bring more stories like this to you. Thank you so much for watching.